Welcome to north of Indianapolis, Westfield, the Great Lakes Regional and Elimination Tuesday. One of the most fun days in Little League Baseball World Series activity. Every game today pits teams that have lost. One team will win a game, the other one will be excused and eliminated. So right now, as you take a look at what could be a log jam, the most important thing for the team out of Lexington, Kentucky, and for that matter, Wausau, Wisconsin, try to win this game, win and advance. Hi, everybody. Jim Barber, John Gregory, spent some of his minor league baseball time with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, for a game that has so much tension and pressure and the fact that you'll go home if you lose, these kids are much too relaxed for me. How about you?
Yeah, I think they're taking the personality of their coach. And for Wisconsin and Keegan Jersley, this kid is one of the kids that's been performing really well. He's relaxed out there. I think he takes it from the head coach. His dad's relaxed. He said, hey, we lost the first one. We did that during the state tournament. We lost 2 ball games, but able to come back. So they're excited about playing today.
Speaking of Jersley, he went yard in the first game, which was good, even though the team was blown out 22-4. And, you know, when you talk about hitting prowess, Kentucky's got to find a way to get it going. Max DeGraff has been good. Bryant's been good, but that's been about it. Yeah,
Max DeGraff 3 for 6 in this tournament. A couple RBIs you can see there. They need the top of this lineup to get started quickly. Hitting is contagious. That's what their coach told us again today. If they do that from the top part of the lineup, they think they can get the hits throughout.
Yeah, and if when you speak about Wisconsin, they said, well, it can't get any worse than it did the other day in a 22-4 loss. So let's see how they react this morning when the game and elimination is at stake. Time for baseball. A lot of folks have made it into the stadium today, and why not? The day will be gorgeous. Sunshine temperatures, upper 70s, very possibly the low 80s. This is the young man that will draw the pitching assignment today, and it will not be easy as Kentucky is foaming at the bit to get those bats going. We're speaking the veteran, Blake Nichols.
Yeah, Blake, fastball, curveball type of guy. He can throw both for strikes, and his coach said there's many times he'll throw breaking ball 3-1. He likes to compete, this kid, and that's why they want him on the mound today. Of course, it's win or go home today for one of these teams, so they want their best out there. Right now, they got a guy out on the mound they like.
Jeff Gadan is not shaking up his lineup too much today. He'll start with Grady Johnson, then power hitting Ty Bryant, Max DeGraff, who, as John highlighted, has had a fine tournament. Then Harrison Tybe, Joey Howard, Graham Johnson, Leighton Harris in the 7th spot, Brady Robeson, who had the RBI to beat Indiana, and Braxton Burse, who has been terrific out in center field, and today he'll get a chance to be the starting pitcher. It's good to have you with us wherever you're at. We're going to have a lot of baseball today. And these games can sometimes be of length because there is, as John alluded to, much at stake. Base hit on the first pitch of the game by Johnson. And what did Gadan, the manager, tell us today? Hey, if he can get on base, he might ignite something.
Exactly right. They need the top part of this lineup. Grady Johnson at the top in the leadoff spot. Ty Bryant, he's the guy that's a power hitter. They're trying to get him to drive the ball to all fields now. But with that hit, let's see if that ignites this offense for Kentucky, something they've been waiting on through the first 2 ball games.
Grady Johnson had been 0 for 5. Now he's had back-to-back hits. Change to Ty Bryant, taken for a ball. You had a nice conversation with his pop today, didn't you?
Yeah, I certainly did. Nice to get to know him. And boy, you know, a proud father, and talks about his son in all different areas and aspects of life, not just baseball or any type of sports, but how he's a good student, really proud dad.
That's Cisco Bryant, and some of the conversations were pretty cute. You know, when dads and moms give advice to 12 and 13-year-olds, not all the advice goes in one ear and stays in the ear. On the opportunity to go to second base, that's exactly what Kentucky takes advantage of, and Grady Johnson in there easily.
And his dad has had a lot of success in his athletic career, but that's not something he talks about. He wants to focus on his son and his abilities and things, and that's it's really refreshing to hear that from the father.
It's pretty hard for a parent who's had some success, I would imagine, not to project or micromanage his son. Ryan takes a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike. The best of the 3 days so far weather-wise. Nichols, 3-1 pitch. Lost him. Runners at first and second for Eastern with nobody out. So the table's being set.
And another good sign for Kentucky there is Ty Bryant goes down to the first base bag. We saw him pulling off of some balls yesterday, trying to pull those type of breaking balls on the outside corner today. He waited, let it go by, and takes the walk.
Here's Max DeGraff, chases a pitch out of the zone, strike one.
There's a perfect example of Blake Nichols at any given time can throw that nice breaking ball. Really, that's his out pitch. His fastball will keep him off balance, but that breaking ball is going to get people out.
In fact, he'll throw that breaking pitch on 3 balls and a strike, which is kind of gutsy. But a lot of times a hitter anticipates a good hitting pitch on 3-1, namely a fastball. Come back with that breaker, you can fool him. Harrison Tybe would be next. Nichols, 2-strike pitch. And he wastes one outside. John, at this level, do you encourage pitchers to throw a pitch out of the zone on 2 strikes?
I don't think so, because of the pitch count, and that's the only reason why. We'll talk about that throughout this entire regional tournament. Is you got to watch the pitches. You see them on the bottom right hand of your screen, 10 total pitches. That shows you the importance of it. If it's up on the screen, it means something. So every strike that you can pound in there is important.
DeGraff out on strikes, 1 out. Big strikeout for Nichols here in the first inning. To the plate, Harrison Tybe. Tybe against Indiana struck out twice and walked, and was 1 for 3 against Illinois. That's a huge out in this game because Wisconsin, while it was competitive for a while against Ohio, got into big trouble in the latter part of the game and probably needs some confidence early to feel like it can compete today.
Yeah, the good thing about it for Wisconsin, they lost their first game. They were able to take yesterday off, kind of regroup, gather together, had a really good practice, and Coach Jersley said that he feels like his team's ready to go. They've been in this situation before. They lost 2 games in the state tournament by a combined 33-5 runs outscored. So they've been in this situation before. They're able to bounce back and won 5 straight to get here. So they're comfortable.
They were teasing manager Jeremy Jersley about that, and he said, oh, that was part of the plan. It's just my players didn't let me know in on the plan. But you talk to the kids today, everybody seems to be pretty comfortable and relaxed. And hey, what, they're kids, you know, it doesn't take long to forget.
Coach Jersley, he's got a really good attitude, just like both of these coaches. Coach Gannon on the other side basically are saying, hey, go out and have some fun with these kids. And Coach Gannon on the other side said anytime you can get a group of 12-year-old kids to give up their entire summer for a common goal like this, it's a really cool thing to see. And both coaches really agree with that.
Count right now on the 4-hitter, Harrison Tybe, is 2 balls, 2 strikes. There are 2 on, 1 out. Joey, just being Joey Howard, would be next.
Here's a look at Coach Gannon down at that third base bag. People ask him how many points he scored. He played basketball at Kentucky as a walk-on. Ask him how much.
Line drive caught, double play. Well, in the scheme of things, how big is that for Wisconsin? Right to the shortstop, Keegan Jersley. He knew exactly what to do. Step on the bag. Inning over. Kentucky threatens, doesn't score. Kentucky nothing. Wisconsin coming up. Braxton Burrs is the starting pitcher today for Eastern, a little league out of Lexington, Kentucky. And John, let's speak to the book on him and what he hopes to accomplish.
And he's going to be a guy that's not going to overpower you out on the mound. He's got a nice curveball and likes the pressure on the mound. So he's another guy that they like to run out there in a situation like this where it's a win and go home. But we'll take a look at that breaking ball because that's going to be, just like on the other side, his out pitch for this ball game.
And we'll take a look at the Wisconsin lineup, hoping to ignite today some runs. It did score 4 in a loss to Ohio. Keegan Jersley, who had the home run we highlighted in the beginning of our broadcast, leads off. Then Landon Parlier, Blake Nichols, Brent Rice, Jesse Osnes hits in the 5-hole. Elijah Gustafson 6. Taylor Lemansky and Jacob Peace, both capable of getting this team going. 7th and 8th. Lucas Hager, the right fielder, will bat 9th. So good first for Wisconsin, holding Kentucky scoreless. Burse will work from the stretch, popped up out of play. Strike 1. Now 0-2. It was Jersley caught the line drive off the bat of Harrison Tybe and doubled up Ty Bryant at second to get Wisconsin out of trouble in the beginning half of this inning. Strike 3. Good breaking ball on 2 strikes by Burse.
He mentioned breaking ball. Both of these pitchers out on the mound have the ability to throw that deuce at any time in the count. And that's a pretty good looking snap on that. Not a slow breaking curveball. That's pretty sharp.
As a hitter, are you anticipating that pitch?
Well, most times you're thinking fastball and adjusting to a breaking ball, but if you have a guy on the mound like Burse, sometimes you may want to try to sit on that breaking ball.
Landon Parlier, base hit center field. All the way to the fence. He's around first base. Heading into second, sliding in with a double. Well, the kid who had a fractured foot several weeks back looks pretty healthy now.
Getting better and better. Missed a little bit of time with that foot injury, and they try to protect him a little bit, but with only 1 game possibly left in the summer, they're going to keep him out on the bases, and he's got some pretty good speed, and it looks like those wheels are fine now.
Yeah. Blake Nichols, starting pitcher today for Wisconsin, at the plate. Team hailing from Wausau. Not too terribly far from Packer territory in Green Bay. Nichols a chance to help himself here, and runs the count to 2-0. The elimination day here in Little League World Series activity in the Great Lakes region. Of course, sometimes kids have an incentive besides trying to win and get to Williamsport that school's already started and may not be particularly in a hurry to get back. 4 pitches and a walk to Nichols. So like Kentucky in the top of the first, Wisconsin has put 2 aboard in the bottom of the inning. Here comes Brant Rice. Rice getting a chance to start today in the catching spot. He's been their main catcher all year long, but he's also capable of pitching as well. And they've been trying to spot him some relief, getting him away from the catcher's spot on occasion. Well, we've seen these kids work behind home plate, John, when that ball bounces in. I mean, it's a lot of activity in a very small amount of time. We've seen a lot of wild pitches in this tournament.
Yeah, it's a tough position for a catcher, as hard as some of these guys are throwing out there. We're talking at times yesterday we saw fastballs that were equivalent to 93 mile an hour, 94 mile an hour major league fastball. So to ask a 12-year-old to block that behind the plate's a big ask.
Yep. Another breaking ball. A ball and 2 strikes on Rice.
Burse has just enough on that fastball, just enough pop on it to show it to you, and then he's going to get you with that big breaking ball, that hacker that he has.
After Rice, it's Jesse Osnes, the center fielder. Parlier is second base, and Nichols at first.
You see Rice at the plate. He's got some good size, and Burse has got the good breaking ball, but if you miss with it up in the zone and that thing doesn't spin, Rice has led this team with home runs, 6 home runs coming into this regional, 19 RBI. So he's got power to all fields, and if you hang it to this guy, he can deliver it over the fence.
0 for 2 a fielder's choice and a loss to Ohio on Sunday. Did not catch the corner. Home plate umpire Brian Hollowell was getting a lot of help from Kentucky fans here. All the while, one of the 4 volunteer umpires today, Jordan Leslie at first, Nick Boylan at second, Andrew Kelly at third, and there were 2 outs in the inning. Two strikeouts now.
Yeah, one more. And what is it? The breaking ball. This time he kept it outside of the big hitter Rice at the plate and got Rice to reach for it. If he does make contact with it, he's not going to hit it hard.
Jesse Osnes to the plate. He was 0 for 2, grounding out to short twice in the game against Ohio. RBI opportunity here for Wisconsin.
It's a good look at Graham Johnson behind the plate. He's looking down to the first base dugout, getting the signs from his coach.
Ball 2 strikes, and Burse is a strike away from striking out the side and getting out of a jam, much like Blake Nichols did in the beginning of the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Got to give it to these Lexington fans. They've made their trip down here, and they've been as vocal as any group of parents or fans as we've seen here in this regional from either the Midwest or the Great Lakes region.
And they really enjoyed, John, what just happened seconds ago. Burr strikes out the side. First he got Keegan Jersley to start the inning. Then he took care of Brant Rice. And finally Jesse Osnes. Kentucky nothing, Wisconsin nothing. Some of the biggest names now in sports played Little League Baseball. How about Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl MVP for the Green Bay Packers, and Tom Brady, who's going for a 6th Super Bowl championship, never been done before. Matthew Stafford, a quarterback to the Lions of Detroit. Doug Flutie, who won the Heisman Trophy. He played Little League too. So did John Elway. Kind of looks like what John Elway would look like back many years ago. And of course you add to that a slew of major leaguers like Chris Bryant, Jeff Samardzija. Love Samardzija's quote. It was a couple days ago, I think we aired it, saying, it takes you back to the days when the game was a lot of fun. Howard on a bounce toward third base, and he's going to reach on an error. Jake Peace unable to come up with the ball, so for the 2nd inning in a row, Kentucky has the leadoff hitter aboard.
Well, find a way to get on there early. We said get some hits, get that top part of the lineup started. Well, even if it's a error, somehow get those guys on. Now you got to get them on, get them over, and find a way to get them in. For Kentucky, at times it hasn't been a problem necessarily getting guys on. It's finding a way to be able to get them around and score and kind of break the ice early in a ball game.
Kentucky had in its loss to Indiana, John, or win against Indiana, run on just 6 hits, and then in the loss to Illinois, 2 runs on 6 hits. Jeff Gannan, their skipper, said that was one of the best played games he's ever been a part of. The 1-0 loss to Indiana, which, by the way, will be here later tonight. Will Kessinger is the special pinch runner at first base. Wisconsin off since its loss on Sunday. Kentucky has played back-to-back days, winning and losing. Each team with a defeat, which means somebody gets to move on, somebody goes home. Breaking ball, missing the zone. 22 pitches now for Blake Nichols. Count 1-2 with a man aboard and nobody out in a scoreless game, top 2nd.
Jim, I thought it was interesting talking to a couple coaches. We didn't bring it up, and both of these coaches had mentioned to us, it's almost, if you're going to lose a game, losing the first game is a better situation than maybe losing on day 2 where you still have to come back. You lose on day 1 like this Wisconsin team, they had a chance to rest yesterday, regroup. On the other hand, Kentucky wins, comes back day 2, loses, then they're back again day 3. So for their pitching, it's a little bit more task than maybe Wisconsin's would be in this situation.
Yes, it is a different type challenge. That to the first baseman and out into right field. Kessinger on his way to third. It'll be first and third, nobody out. We'll see how they score. It was sharply hit, and it was not an easy play for Eli Gustafson.
Boy, that pitch was way outside, and he was able to reach outside to it. Johnson was, and hit that ball hard the opposite direction.
So Leighton Harris with an RBI spot here. Runners at first and third, nobody out. And Wausau Little League in a jam once again.
Harris was the one guy as an 11-year-old. He had an RBI in game 1 versus Indiana.
By the way, that was ruled a base hit. Double play, ball is short, bobbled, and they'll get the force. In the meantime, Kessinger scores and Kentucky draws first blood. Well, if they score this, a potential double play, there will be no RBI for Leighton Harris. If it's a fielder's choice, he will, in fact, get a run batted in. Matters little. Kentucky has the 1-0 lead.
That's correct. That's an RBI.
And it has been ruled a run batted in. Not that any of these guys are up for contract this year or anything, but, you know, it's still important to know.
Give him an RBI.
Yeah. Brady Robeson. He had that RBI double to beat Indiana on Sunday night. Playing left field, batting in the 8th position. Pretty fair hitter in that spot, too. And on the wild pitch, Leighton Harris down to second base.
Looks like we're seeing a little bit more small ball out of this Lexington Eastern Kentucky team. More guys turning to bunt the ball, trying to put some pressure on Wisconsin's defense. Manufacture runs. If you can't get it out of the ballpark, find a way to get a run, and it looks like maybe that's the game plan for Jeff Gadan and this Kentucky team, is try to manufacture stuff early, and then once you start getting some runs, that becomes a little bit easier.
It's good recognition, John, in light of the fact that Kentucky just hasn't scored a lot of runs in this tournament. 4, including the one scored moments ago. 2-2 pitch. Base hit right field. Runner had to hold to make sure it wasn't caught. And so Kentucky will play station-to-station baseball, at least from second to third, and on the base hit, Robeson pulls into second. He'll get credit for a single, taking second on the throw.
I like what you said about Leighton Harris at second base. He froze on the line drive. That's one of the reasons he didn't score, but that's good base running. You don't want to get doubled up there, so you could see him stop, made sure the ball went through, and held up at third base. Now you have 2 runners in scoring position.
Well, you think about how the first inning ended for Kentucky with that double play line drive to the shortstop, Jersley. Runners at second and third, 1 out. They got a rally going here, and that one is popped up and out of play by the pitcher, Braxton Burse. Burse 0 for 2 in limited activity so far at the plate. And hit on the helmet, and the bases are loaded. So 5 players to the plate here in the second, 5 batters. Just 1 has made it out. Burse is okay over at first base, and Nichols is in a spot. And because of that, they're going to have a huddle. The manager, Jeremy Jersley, stepping out there to converse. Chris Gustafson is the team's bench coach. Matt Hager, when Wisconsin's bat in the second, is the first base coach.
Enjoyed talking with Jeremy this week, getting to know him a little bit more, and course, he's got a proud father and Mike, the third base coach of the Kansas City Royals.
I do hope he appreciated the fact we were updating the Royals doubleheader.
That's right.
On Sunday.
Now, a little early now. His dad maybe having a chance to watch this on the ESPN app he was talking about. Asked his dad, do you know how to get on that app?
And like most of us who are of age, typically the first answer is, I'm not sure.
I know I do the same with my dad.
Grady Johnson with the bases loaded and 1 out. Left-handed swinger, first time up, and a base hit to right. Ball to the backstop, runner trying to score, and well. 2-0 Kentucky. This is a problem for Wisconsin in the loss to Ohio. Too many balls past the catcher to the backstop. Third wild pitch already in just 2 innings of play as Leighton Harris scores. Towards short. That will score another run. Throw over the first is in time. Give the RBI to Grady Johnson. It is now 3-0 Kentucky.
Not an easy play for Jersley as that ball hit pretty hard to his backside. He doesn't backhand it, plants the right foot. You can see the strong arm over to first base to get the out.
Here's Ty Bryant, who walked into first. Braxton Burst now the base runner at second. Ty Bryant, favorite sports team, the New York Giants, who made a lot of news in the offseason with Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, it's a New York team. They make a lot of news anyway. It really doesn't matter when it's a particular player. It's New York.
True.
Bryant, the 7th man to the plate in the inning. Well, you talk to his dad, and dads being dads, kind of hoping that Bryant will get a chance to lock in on one and knock it out. He is 2 for 5 in the tournament. He has struck out 3 times. But he's out on strikes. Just 1 earned run in the inning. But Kentucky does score 3 times and leads 3-0 over Wisconsin as we go to the bottom of the second. The Little League Grow the Game Grant Initiative has distributed over $2 million at the local level. Grant funding provides local Little Leagues resources for general improvement and to expand or establish softball, challenger division, and urban initiative programs. For more info, visit littleleague.org/grow the game. Jim Barber, John Gregory. Wisconsin looks for an answer here in the bottom of the second after a 3-run top of the second inning. This was skied toward left field and deep and gone. Ball kind of kept carrying, and Eli Gustafson goes the opposite way, and Wisconsin's on the board 3-1. And every home run in Little League World Series competition is treated by teammates like it's a walk-off.
And why not, too? This is an opposite field yacker here as he delivers this over the left center field fence. That ball continued to carry. A little help from the wind. It's blowing out to left field today, and what a great day for baseball. I mean, there's not a cloud in the sky, no humidity. That ball just kept carrying and picks up a big home run. You see that smile on his face as he crossed the plate, and I always watch him. He was the first one back to the dugout, too. He left his entire group teammates.
Well, maybe, just maybe, that'll be the lift that Wisconsin needs. Eli went deep on Sunday. He now has 2 home runs, and here's a player that can, with some power, equally match that. Taylor Lemansky, just a shade under 5 feet. Batting for the first time today. In district play, he hit a grand slam.
Hit that grand slam in the district, and he didn't get the start in the first game here. working on it a little bit. He came in as a pinch hitter and got a base knock, and then now he got an opportunity to start today.
And Braxton Burrs, starting pitcher for Kentucky, John, now has 4 strikeouts.
And 3 of those have come by the way of the breaking ball, and ended the last inning with a good fastball for the strikeout.
Here's Jake Peace. And Pease takes one outside, ball 1. (3-1) Kentucky, sending 7 to the plate in the top of the second. The run for Wisconsin on Gustafson's home run just moments ago. A tough tournament so far. Wisconsin having to play from behind in every game. This being the second game it's been a part of. But when you look on the faces of the kids on the bench, living a dream here. After Pease, Lucas Hager would bat next. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think back when you were a kid playing Little League, you just didn't want the summer to end. You just want, you knew school was coming up, but if these kids can keep on playing, get to the next level at the Little League World Series, they're going to play for a few more weeks possibly.
5 outs recorded by Kentucky today, and pitcher Braxton Burrs has all 5 by way of strikeout.
Yeah, and he's doing it with a great mix of pitches. This time it looked like the fastball. We'll take a look at it, and certainly it was. Outside corner, good location. Graham Johnson, his catcher, setting right up on the outside corner.
Graham Johnson, Grady Johnson, identical twins. Here's Lucas Hager trying to extend the inning for Wausau Little League, representing the state of Wisconsin. A ball and 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Kentucky third, middle of the lineup, Max DeGraff, Harrison Tybe, Joey Howard scheduled to bat. Pitch number 34 from Braxton. And the at-bat remains alive for Lucas Hager. Brian Hollowell had a pretty good look at it, but the home plate umpire said not in the strike zone, so the count now goes full. See what Burst comes back with on 3-2. Base hit right field. Lucas Hager turns over the lineup to Keegan Jersley with 2 outs in the second.
Good battle by Hager at the plate. Fighting pitches off, and then finally he gets a fastball up in the chest area, and he delivers it out to right field for the base hit. Had to hustle down that first base line. Leighton Harris out in right field, right on top of that, the lefty trying to get him at first base.
I recall breaking up a no-hitter just a year out of Little League where they tried to throw me out from right field.
I recall getting thrown out from right field.
It really happened, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think in my case, the shock or blazing speed that I had enabled me to get to first before the throw beat me.
Yeah, I like to say I hit it so hard out to right field, but the truth of the matter is I was slow going down to first base. You can look at it 2 different ways. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Snap throw down to first base, and diving back in is Lucas Hager. Jersley, a strikeout victim in the first in the tournament. 2 for 4 with a home run and a base hit. Landon Parlier, who's had a perfect tournament so far, would be next. Toward right field, that's hit pretty deep. Game tied. The Wisconsin bats are alive and well. You know, John, maybe the day off has done the team some good.
Or the fact of the matter, they got behind and lost the first game, and they play a lot more relaxed this way. And boy, look at the timing of that. You could see him, Keegan, pick up that left foot, place it down. Timing was perfect. No help by the wind or anything on that one. That ball was hit extremely well to right center field. Another opposite field home run. And gets his team right back in this ball game.
Here's Landon Parlier, who is in this tournament so far 3 of 3. All 3 base hits, including a double, have been to center field. Favorite sports team, the NL Central contending Milwaukee Brewers. Contrast in scoring in this game. Kentucky kind of pieced together 3 runs. And Wisconsin's gone long ball twice here in its half of the inning.
And that was Keegan Jersley's second home run of the tournament. Had that solo home run in their game 1 loss.
Breaking ball for a strike, 2-2. Elimination Tuesday. Winner advances, loser is out. Burst for the second inning in a row strikes out the side, but Wausau goes long ball. First Eli Gustafson going the opposite field. And then with a man aboard, after this solo homer, Keegan Jersley is able to smack one out as well. And so after 2 innings, it's Kentucky 3, Wisconsin 3. Just a few more weeks and the regular season for the National Football League will open. Big question around here for the Indianapolis Colts and its fans. Hey, what's up with Andrew Luck? Is he going to be okay?
Yeah, I need to see him back on the field. It's good for NFL to have him out there.
Kentucky with 3 in the top of the second. And on home runs by Eli Gustafson and Keegan Jersley. Wisconsin with 3 in the bottom of the second. In the third, Max DeGraff leads off. DeGraff in the loss to Illinois had the RBI hit. Actually, his hit scored 2 for 3 in that game against Indiana, 0 for 3. So 2 for 6. Now add the strikeout to him, 2 for 7, batting .286 in this tournament. And he's one of the big cogs in the lineup. Toward third base. Still has a chance to get the runner and does. And DeGraff is pretty disgusted with himself. Let's find out why.
I think he's a little frustrated. He slipped coming out of the box there, and that gave Keegan Jersley the time to be able to field that. And that's a heads-up play again by Jersley. You know, the baseball IQ is just there for that kid. Comes after his dad and comes after the grandfather. It's in the family, and he didn't give up on that play. That ball was, Peace wasn't able to come up with it because DeGraff slipped out of the box. Jersley was able to make the long throw again over to first base to get the out.
So that goes from third base to shortstop to first base. 1 out. Harrison Tybe at the plate. Smoked one to Jersley at shortstop, and Keegan turned it into a double play to end the top of the Kentucky first. Batting again in the cleanup spot. Tybe so far 1 for 5, and he has struck out 3 times.
Blake Nichols a little upset with himself on the mound there, knowing he held onto that curveball a little bit too long, way outside. He was frustrated.
Count remains even 2-2. It's a 3-3 tie in the top of the third. Whole lot of baseball today. Iowa and Minnesota to follow at 1 o'clock Eastern. Kansas, Nebraska at 4. Indiana, Michigan at 7. All these teams fighting to stay alive. Again, the 2-2. Harrison Tybe, Joey Howard to follow him, then Graham Johnson if we get that far. And Tybe is aboard. Second walk in the tournament for him. Joey Howard, the scheduled batter, and right now Jeff Gannan will make a substitution. Caleb Wombles will pinch hit. We will visit the substitution rules just in case you're not familiar with them. But each team comes in with 13 players today available, as Womble shows bunt. And they do have 2 different classifications for rosters of 12 or less and teams with 13 or more players. In essence, everybody plays. We've seen a couple of teams here, though, John, with just 2 available players, which really puts a little bit of a strain on the bench.
Certainly does. You want to be able to have guys run in there if you can. And in all these teams, these are all-stars. So even your substitutes are guys that are going to step off the bench. We'll see games later today where a couple teams got only a few hits, only 2 hits, and both of the guys off the bench are the ones that got them.
Yeah. That one outside. Rice held it for a while to try to get a strong opinion from Brian Hollowell. He wasn't buying it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Man at first in a 3-3 game in the third. And the pitch. All right, we've thrown this at you on more than one occasion, but it's worth noting. It's contingent again based on the number of players the team has at the beginning of the game, and each team has 13. So pay attention to that top line. Each player must bat once, and you will see more often than not managers use that to their advantage in a tight game early. Although there have been a couple exceptions where the pinch hitters, and you mentioned it, John, have come off the bench late and delivered. Count runs full. A lot of pitches in the inning for Nichols. Blake trying to find his way here in the third inning. This will be his 20th pitch for just the third, and he's nearing 60 for the game. Shortstop out at second, and a fielder's choice for Wombles, who beat the throw to first. 2 outs.
Nichols delivering up a ground ball that time. Jersley again doing the right thing. Get the first out. You can see it off the left-hander's bat. Nice easy hop there. Good throw. Pivot to second base, and Perlier not able to get the runner at first. The speedy runner wombles down the first base line.
Graham Johnson to the plate. You have called Keegan Jersley's name a lot here. He already has 5 assists in the first 2 2/3 of this game. And he's had some interesting assists in which he was able to recover on a Jake Peace bobble and throw out the runner here earlier in the inning. Line drive caught, second base. A bullet at London Parlier, and he handles it well. Landon makes the catch. It's 3-4-5 for Wisconsin, in a 3-3 tie. Great Lakes Regional rolls out between Lexington Eastern and Wausau National. Jim Barber, John Gregory. Kentucky in the field right now. Each team scoring 3 times in the second and in the third. A line drive out and a fine play by the shortstop. Keegan Jersley got Wisconsin out of any further difficulty.
This Kentucky team has run into a couple line drives to end some innings. They've hit some balls hard right at people. They're swinging the bats a little bit better today, yet still running into some bad luck.
What a difference, at least to this point, for Wisconsin from the other day, John, when it didn't have a chance against Ohio, giving up 13 in 1 inning. And you ask the third base coach, Jeremy Jersley, well, have you ever been through something like that? So, yeah, we had a game in the state where we gave up 14. And they were outscored 33-5. So, been there, done that.
Yeah, they outscored the opponent in every inning except that one.
That's what you call a small consolation. Blake Nichols has run the count to 3-0. Brent Rice, Jesse Osnes scheduled to bat after him.
I wanted to ask him, and I didn't, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to talk to him again. He is a head coach at University of Wisconsin Stevens Point, as you see the base on balls there. I wonder, in all the games that he's coached there, the intensity in this game with his son involved with it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're coaching Little League or at the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point. You know, every game's important, and I imagine it ratchets up a little bit more when it's your own son out there.
I agree. Burst about to reach 50 pitches. In 2 innings, he does have 6 strikeouts, but has allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, and walked a couple. So some changes to be made, likely when the skipper goes to the mound. It involves the pitcher, but we'll wait and see. And in fact, that's exactly what will happen. So Burrs struck out the side in each of the 2 innings, but gave up a couple of home runs and walked the leadoff hitter Nichols to start the third, so he's out. And as we're probably going to see on a number of occasions today, a whole lot of substitutions. That's Joey Howard coming in now to replace him. Well, the name's appropriate. It's called Grand Park, and this place, in a word, is grand. It's been open for business a little more than 3 years and has 31 soccer and multi-purpose fields, 26 baseball and softball diamonds. I know this for a fact, John, because when I arrived here just to scout the place last week, I got lost. So yes. I got to see each and every particular facility that this has, and it's, in a word, beautiful.
Multi-use event center, indoor field house. In the background there, you can see all the fields, grass fields, turf fields, everything you need for, I would say, there's an indoor facility here that has 3 full-size soccer fields, including a championship field in the middle of an indoor facility that seats 5,000. It's just incredible. You can drive for a couple miles and all you see is sporting fields.
Great access into and outside the facility as well. Joey Howard, as mentioned, pitching. Dylan Gannan now is the third baseman. Braxton Burrs heads to left field. Hit toward left field. Into the sun and caught. That was not an easy play. Braxton Burrs, who's just moved to left field, fought the sun. We saw Jack Jones have some difficulty in an earlier game yesterday, and he was able to haul it in. And I believe he's got glasses on, does he not? Let's see.
He certainly does, and fortunately for him, he did. And boy, what he did also to help himself out, he used his glove to shade the sun, and you have to be able to use that glove. Remember the old days? They actually had some sunglass material inside the glove in the webbing. That didn't last very long, but
no.
But the glasses now, using the glove to block the sun. Nice job out there. Not an easy play at all.
And that records the first out in the bottom of the third as Jesse Osnes steps to the plate for Eastern out of Lexington, Kentucky. 3 pitches, Osnes out on strikes, 2 outs. That'll leave it up to Eli Gustafson. Remember what he did the last time up? Opposite field home run. So Gustafson now in this tournament. 2 hits, 3 at bats, and 2 of the hits are home runs. Count even, a ball and strike. Taylor Lemansky would bat next. Looking ahead to the Kentucky 4th, bottom of the order, scheduled hitters Leighton Harris, Brady Robeson, and Braxton Burse. And time being called. So the chant of "Let's go E," Eli Gustafson takes one inside, and he's ahead on the count. 3 balls and a strike. His home runs have been opposite field, left field, and straightaway center. Great power in the bottom of the lineup. That is indeed a wild pitch, but it doesn't matter because that's ball 4 to Gustafson. So take away the wild pitch. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. Kentucky pitcher and catcher will have a conversation. Same thing going on down the third base line for Taylor Lemansky and head coach Jeremy Jersley. Check that. That's Turner Olson chatting with his third base coach and boss. And so Olson will bat now in place of Lemansky. Olson was 0 for 2, reached on an error in a loss to Ohio.
And Olson's one of those kids off the bench that can really step in and do some big things for you. He really came on at their state tournament. So they trust him in this situation. Runners on first and second with an opportunity here.
Ball 1. Count even, a ball and a strike. If you're just tuning in, Kentucky got 3 in the second. Brought 7 batters to the plate. Wisconsin added or countered with 3 in the bottom of the second on home runs by Gustafson, solo, and a 2-runner by Jersley. This up the middle, base hit. Here's a chance for Wisconsin to go to head. Throw to the plate, save. Got a runner hung up at second base. Now he's going to try to go to third, and he's caught in a rundown. Inning over, but Wausau, for the first time in the tournament, has gone ahead. RBI single by pitch hitter Olson with 2 outs. Well, unlike the other day, this Wisconsin team, John, far more competitive. After 3, Wisconsin 4, Kentucky 3.
Interesting play to end last inning is we had a rundown here, but I want you to watch all the blue shirts. You know, in football they say, you know, get a bunch of blue shirts around for the tackle. Watch this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 players in the screen right there, and they all go off as a team. So a big out at second base, and it involved the entire team as they all helped out in the rundown. And that's a great look of a bunch of little leaguers trying to get involved and helping each other out.
Well, they say in football, surround the ball, right?
That's right.
This one hit deep to right center field by Rose. Up against the fence, around first. And a stand-up double representing the tying run for Kentucky in the 4th. So a good start for Kentucky, putting its leadoff hitter on for the 3rd time today. Another look.
Rose, I thought this one had an opportunity to get out of here too, as a couple hops off the wall, and you can see Rose, look at him. He watches some UK baseball, college baseball. You see guys with the enthusiasm, they reach second base.
Now trying to go to third, throw it in the outfield, but no chance to score, and we may have an injured player. Been almost injury-free in this tournament, but R.J. Stromick down at third base.
Well, glad to see Stroman's okay, and the umpire come over and talk to him. He's got a little smile on his face. That was close. That ball was backed up in left field nicely, because that would have cut off the run. That ball got into right or left field quickly, as Rose was probably out at third base had Stroman been able to come up with that baseball from the throw from Rice behind the plate.
All right, let me correct something, John. Dylan Gannan is actually batting for Brady Robeson here, with a tying run at third, and Wausau, Wisconsin will bring the infield in, try to cut down the tying run. Just a note about that rundown that you alluded to moments ago. I thought I saw a flag out there for too many men on the field, but that could have been misled.
There were a bunch of blue shirts there, that's for sure.
Braxton Burst scheduled to bat next.
Stay in the game.
Leighton Harris, the runner at third base with nobody out. And now runners at first and third as Gannan hit by a pitch. So Kentucky's got something going here in the 4th. And Will Kessinger will bat for Braxton Bruce.
So Gannan trying to turn, and that ball just catches his shirt. He points down to his side, and he'll make his way down to first base, and it looks like we may get a pitching change here.
Here comes skipper Jeremy Jersley. Much better showing for Wisconsin today, and I thought that manager Jersley had a pretty good read on that. With the day off after the 22-4 loss to Ohio, and the fact that the team had been beaten up pretty badly in the first 2 games of state before rallying. That'll be it for Blake Nichols, who now will go from the mound to center field, and we'll take a break. Wisconsin 4, Kentucky 3 in the 4th. Catch all the excitement of the Little League World Series, including scores, stats, highlights, and more. Visit LLBWS.org or follow along on social media with hashtag LLWS. Jim Barber, John Gregory. Entertaining elimination game today. Wisconsin leading 4-3, but as Parlier comes on in relief for Wausau, Kentucky is threatening with runners at first and third. Jesse Osnes is now the second baseman. And we told you before the break that Blake Nichols moves to center field. So Landon Parlier in a spot, inheriting runners at first and third, nobody out. And he hits Kessinger, and the bases now are loaded. So after a leadoff double, back-to-back players get plunked, and now they're loaded.
Watching Parlier warm up, Before he got to face that first batter, he threw a couple balls back off of the screen. It was very difficult to find the strike zone. That may be some type of indication here. We'll see quickly if they make how long they stay with him if he's not able to find the strike zone.
Grady Johnson trying to put him in hand, but he pops it up to shortstop. No problem for Jersley, who has 2 putouts in the game and 5 assists. 1 out. The ever dangerous Ty Bryant come to the plate. 2 for 3 against Indiana. 0 for 2 against Illinois. 0 for 1 today. Well, looking for his dad on the Kentucky side here. I hope he didn't go and hide. Pitch low ball. Bases loaded for Kentucky and 1 out. Strike 1.
Well, I got to tell you, Bryant just missed that pitch. That thing was fouled straight back here, and he was on that fastball.
Ty's mom and dad both in attendance today, as are a lot of the parents of the Little League kids. Ball in the dirt, runner will hold. 2 balls and a strike. Well, like most of the games we've seen here, never a dull moment. Infield back at double play depth, trying to get out of a huge jam. Toward third base, eating up piece, and everybody's safe. Or check that R.J. Stroming, and the game now is tied.
Ball beat into the ground at third base, and Peace not able to come up with it here, but Jersley again in a good spot to be able to prevent anything other than 1 run coming across the bag.
Now backs to Graff. 3 for 8 in the tournament, couple of RBIs. Ruled an error on R.J. Stroming, who replaced Peace. Remember, Stroming got shaken up earlier in the inning. Strike called. Bases still loaded at a 4-4 tie. The pitch. Good save by Brant Rice behind home plate. DeGraff, 6th batter to hit in the inning. 2-1.
And for Kentucky, this is that big inning that they've been waiting to get throughout this entire regional so far. As they've had the bases loaded at times or some runners on. They just haven't been able to put a bunch of crooked numbers up there, but they're looking for one here.
To the backstop, that'll score a runner easily. Kentucky takes a 5-4 lead. Well, this is eerily reminiscent of what Wisconsin went through in that horrible inning against Ohio, John. Wild pitches, errors. In fact, there's only been 1 hit in the inning. There have been 2 hit batsmen, a couple of wild pitches, and an error. Infield now will draw in. Trying to get a tough hitter out. 5th wild pitch of the game by Wisconsin pitchers. Against the pulled-in infield, good strategy, because not only did that record it out, but it kept the runner frozen at third base.
No question about it. Having that infield in was able to cut off the run. And you said 1 out in that situation. Sometimes you'll see teams automatically go on a ground ball, but because that infield was playing in, they were saying, let's make it go through before you decide you're going to go home.
Graff has hit the ball well today. We highlighted him in our opening comments, but he is 0 for 3. So with runners at second and third, still another scoring opportunity. And Tybe sends it towards center field, should get Wisconsin out of it. Oh, Blake Dickel spot the sun. And he won. Kentucky gets 2 in the top of the 4th. That sun must be brutal out there because everybody's making an event out of a routine fly ball. Now it's 5-4 Kentucky, last of the 4th. This is how the Kentucky 4th ended. A routine fly ball to Blake Nichols. You do everything you can to make the catch. How about using your hat?
Using your hat to block the sun. We saw it earlier. Burst out in left field. What he was doing was using his glove to block the sun, and more times than often, that's the better way to do it. That way you have the glove up around the area you want to catch the ball anyway. So he was fighting it big time out there, but makes a nice play to be able to catch that.
R.J. Stroming, who replaced Jake Peace at third base, is leading off the Wisconsin 4th. Wausau at the bottom of its lineup, the 8-9 hitters, followed by the leadoff hitter, Keegan Jersley. We have seen a lot of fly balls go from looking relatively easy to catch to being very challenging.
What a perfect day it is for baseball, but it creates a little bit of a problem for outfielders with not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, I agree. R.J. Stroming, just his second at bat in the tournament. He's 0 for 1, a strikeout. And there's one out in the Wisconsin 4th. Second strikeout for Joey, just being Joey Howard.
Joey being Joey on the mound with a breaking ball here is kept that away from the hitter. Got the swing and miss that he wanted, and a good start to the half an inning here.
By the way, not to make it an inside joke, but Joey being Joey, we got that from Skipper Gannan.
That's right.
Braden Capitz will get a chance to hit here.
We always ask him, you know, give us a little something on each kid, and he said, Joey's just Joey.
One strike. Each team got 3 in the second. Wisconsin went ahead with a run in the third. Kentucky back with 2 in the 4th. Coming up, Iowa, Minnesota after this one. This game an elimination game, just like the next 3 will be as well here on ESPN. Modified double elimination tournament. Everybody fighting to stay alive. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the bottom of the 4th with Joey Howard. And on the day, 9 Wisconsin batters have recorded strikeouts.
That time looking, first time he got him swinging and keeping him off balance, using that fastball and breaking ball. See if he can get one more here, but going to be difficult against Jersley, a guy that's taken a couple balls out of this park.
The wind has been blowing out the entire day. But you mentioned this back in the second. When he launched it, it really didn't matter. The wind had no effect on it as it went to right center field. That's this one up to center field. Bryant with a catch, inning over. 1-2-3 for Wisconsin in the 4th. After 4, got a good one this afternoon. Kentucky 5, Wisconsin 4. Kentucky with 3 in the second. Wisconsin with 3 in its second. Opposite field homer to start with by Eli Gustafson, his second in the Great Lakes Regional. And following Gustafson with the man aboard, Keegan Jersley got all of this to right center field. That tied the game. Wisconsin went ahead in the 3rd inning. On a base hit to center field by Turner Olson. But Kentucky has been aided by 5 Wisconsin wild pitches and has regained the advantage at 5-4. So we head now to the 5th. Kentucky 5-4-0. Wisconsin 4-5-2. Parlier with a long look in. And Caleb Wombles will lead off. Wombles batted back in the third and was out on a fielder's choice, short to second. Well, the last of the fourth was the first time a team has been retired in order today, John.
Both coaches said they wanted to get their leadoff guys on. Well, they've been able to do it either by hitting or walk. So first one, 3 up, 3 down.
Wombles to third base. Ball caught, 1 out. Nice play by R.J. Stroming, who went with the basket catch over there.
Another one of those balls that we've talked about on the ground that kind of spins off the end of the bat. You can see him with that basket catch there. Watch this ball just kind of pull cue off the end of it. Surround it, make sure you cup it like a punt almost, right? That's how
you say those are the toughest to handle, right?
Oh, definitely.
Back-to-back pop-outs in the Kentucky 5th inning. There are 2 outs.
I say that. I think I told you this story before. I was playing in Medicine Hat, Canada, in the Dodger organization in the minor leagues, and my parents came from Florida to see me, and they hit a spinner to me at first base. Went off the side of my glove. The winning run scored. And my parents made a long trip to see that.
Another fly ball. This on the out part of the infield is going to drop in for a base hit, and nobody is covering second base. So allows Leighton Harris to get in.
Well, all the good things we've talked about from a communication standpoint, this time it was like, I got it, you take it situation here. As you can see, Oz's second base going out for this. Jersley tried to take control of it. Nobody there, and nobody at second base covering the bag to be able to get the throw. Now this Kentucky team has somebody in scoring position after 2 quick outs.
Giving Brady Robeson an RBI opportunity. Gobbled up by Stroming. Inning is over. He comes up with a putout and an assist in the inning. And Kentucky fails to score. Wisconsin's got the meat of the order coming up. Trailing 5-4, bottom 5th. Welcome back to Westfield, Indiana. Jim Barber with John Gregory. Profile on Wausau, Wisconsin. Population a shade over 39,000. 95 miles north of Green Bay. The famous face, the great one, Jim Otto. NFL Hall of Fame center. And for Wausau National Little League team, Landon Parlier, Blake Nichols, Brent Rice are scheduled to bat in the 5th. Tightly contested game, 1 run. Parlier now on the mound for Wausau National, Wausau American. Skies one towards center field, and that one with the wind is going to give him a chance for a double, and he slides in safely. Well, the outfield's become an event today. Not only for Braxton Burris, but Ty Bryant as well.
Bryant fighting 2 things out there. He was fighting the sun this time and where that wall was. Again, that's a temporary fence out there in center field. There's really no warning track. So for a player going out there to catch a fly ball, if you're not familiar with your surroundings, a little more difficult, especially without a warning track. But so not only the sun he was fighting that time, it was the elements of the field. As you see, that's a temporary fence that they've moved inside. So some of the changes that this ground crew has done here.
In front of Bryant for a base hit. And they'll go station to station. Runner on the base hit. Blake Nichols flying into second base, so it's second and third. Nobody out for Wisconsin in the 5th. Making some noise in this elimination game.
Watch him out of the box here. He hits this ball. He's thinking 2 all the way. The ball drops in front of him, and when he sees the throw there, Nichols immediately goes to second base. That's really good base running. Now you've got 2 guys in scoring position with an opportunity to, with the go-ahead run at second base.
Brings Jeff Gannan to the mound. So let's see what type of changes Gannan might make here. As now Kentucky's on the defense with runners at second and third and nobody out. Joey Howard's heading off the field. And there will be a change. As Leighton Harris is called on the pitch. Howard, in the meantime, is heading over to the third base spot. And we'll try to have all the maneuvering for you in a minute. The most important thing is Wisconsin now has the tying run a short distance away from home plate and the lead run at second base. And nobody out. So defensively, how are they going to play this for Leighton Harris? You're going to bring everybody in?
Well, again, I think with no outs here, you don't want to give up too much, although you've got the winning run on second base. Wouldn't surprise me, again, if they're playing in on the corners and maybe halfway with second base and shortstop.
Here comes Brant Rice, 0 for 4 in the tournament. Reached on a fielder's choice against Ohio. What a difference a day makes. Wisconsin beaten up 22-4 in the first game. A chance to win this one. Here trailing 5-4 in the fifth. Rice to be followed by Jesse Osnes.
And Harris has to be very careful here with Rice at the plate. Again, a leading home run hitter for this team. 6 home runs and 19 RBI coming into this regional tournament through the state. So he's very dangerous at the plate. You miss inside to him, he can turn on it.
Not a bad thing maybe to pitch around him, load the bases to get a force at home plate. That ball is foul. Harris pitching now. Joey Howard third base. Brady Robeson in left field, and Braxton Burse has moved from left all the way to right. Thomas Bryant remains in center. Kentucky playing everybody in at their position. That pitch misses. The count now 3-1.
The problem with trying to pitch around to a guy like this is you load the bases, and unless you're a guy that can throw consistent strikes, then you threat of walking guys in, and that's when the numbers start to pile up.
Good point. Count now 3-2. Let's see what Leighton Harris comes up with on the sixth and most important pitch to Brant Rice. Ball gets away on a wild pitch. Here comes the tying run. Ball 4 to Rice, who will head to first base. I don't think he's aware of it. He is now. And so the wild pitch, which has hurt Wisconsin, now doing Kentucky in as Landon Parlier scoots home.
Visit to the mound by Grady Johnson, the shortstop, right now saying we're still in this ball game. No outs in this situation. Possible double play with the middle infielders. They're in a situation they can still do that in on the corners, but you've got to cut this run off. This is the winning run at third base right now.
Looking ahead to the Kentucky sixth, bottom of the order, Braxton Burse, and then back to the top, Grady Johnson and Ty Bryant.
Let's see if they do something with Rice, the runner at first base, if they try to create some type of problem here for the defense by sending him and trying to steal a run from third base, but less likely to maybe do it with no outs, knowing that you can still have plenty of opportunity to score from third.
Jesse Osnes is 0 for 4. Struck out twice. Behind on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Leighton Harris inheriting a jam. Back to the pitcher. They freeze the runner, get the out at first base, 1 out.
Leighton Harris with the quick comebacker to the mound. He did the right thing. He looked the runner back, Nichols, to third base, make sure he was not breaking. The one difference that you want to do is take your time and step and throw to first base. His legs were basically square to the bag. He didn't step and throw. Fortunately, he threw a strike over there, but plenty of time. You don't have to panic in that situation, but a good play defensively by Harris.
Graham Johnson looking over to the bench right now. And the reason why is they're going to intentionally pass Gustafson, and why not? He's got 2 home runs in 3 at bats, so the bases are loaded. That also sets up a double play ball. The intentional walk rules have changed. Prior to a pitch being thrown, the defensive manager can elect to signal the intentional walk, and that's exactly what happened there. So Turner Olson came through with a base hit back in the 3rd, got a chance to be a hero here.
The other thing they did there, 4 pitches are automatically added to the pitch count.
See, that's the part I think they should change. That you're actually not throwing 4 physical pitches. So I don't think they should add that.
Well, it's what you would do so it doesn't change the outcome of the game, and maybe something late in the ball game you want to get to somebody else, and that would put you over the limit. So I can see where that rule is in there for that purpose.
Olsen behind on 2 strikes. Harris could use a punch out here. And he got it. 2 away. Big out for Kentucky. It's a tough pitch to hit here.
Lefty to lefty, and you get that big breaking ball. It's something you don't see all the time as a little leaguer, that big yacker from a left-hander, and that's a perfect location.
So Wisconsin gets one more chance here with the bases loaded. R.J. Stroming to the plate. Struck out in the 4th. Ball 1.
Coach for Kentucky, Jeff Gannon, before the ball game told us the difference between the first game is they had the bases loaded. They were able to get out of it. The second game, they had the bases loaded, and they couldn't get out of it, and that was the difference. And guess where they are now?
Yeah.
The same situation.
What's that phrase? Deja vu all over again?
Yes, and that's what it is for sure.
Count even, a ball and a strike. The bases are loaded with 2 outs in a 5-5 game. Back to the pitcher. To home plate, inning over. Good amount of pitching on the part of Leighton Harris. He inherited a mess. Wisconsin gets only 1, but they're pretty happy about that because they're playing a lot more competitive than they have been. 5-5 as we go to the last regularly scheduled inning. They're all 6-inning games in Little League play, and we have reached the 6th in an elimination game today between Kentucky and Wisconsin. Kentucky 5-5-0 and Wisconsin 5 runs. 7 hits, 2 errors. Jim Barber, John Gregory. Pleased to be part of our coverage that includes 140 Little League and softball games on the ESPN networks. Get to Williamsport here in a few weeks. For one of these teams, the dream of Williamsport will continue. Braxton Burse at the plate, 1 for 2 in the regional, and has been hit by a pitch. Burse to be followed by the top of the order, Grady Johnson, Ty Bryant. Hit well to left field. Caught. Kind of a snow cone catch by Turner Olson, 1 out.
Olsen with the long run here. You can see him with his glove out the whole way. He was tracking it, had the glasses flashing out there. So that ball was hit pretty hard. Good run. Had it all the way. And a little excitement at the end. Said, oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. I think he hurt his hand.
Grady Johnson.
Thought he was excited about the catch. He was shaking it off.
Grady Johnson in the tournament so far, 1 for 9. Struck out a couple of times, actually 2 for 9 with a hit today, and a run batted in. Looking ahead to the Wisconsin 6th, bottom of the order, Lucas Hager, and then back to the top. Count a ball and 2 strikes. Coming up next, Iowa and Minnesota.
You can sense it from this Wisconsin fans. They feel like if they can just get through this top half of the inning here, then maybe some type of a walk-off. We saw one a walk-off to end last night with a base hit. Will we see another one in game 1 today?
Wasn't that a terrific game last night between Minnesota and South Dakota?
One of the best.
On the bounce, towards short, tough play, not in time. Let's see if they score that a hit, because Johnson was flying down the line.
Did everything he could. Your body's taking you toward home plate. That ball's going to tend to tail toward the right side from that right-handed hitter. They gave him a hit on it, and that's probably what they needed to score that. That was a very difficult play for the shortstop.
Third hit for Grady Johnson in the tournament. Here's Ty Bryant, who steps away from the inside pitch for a strike. Ty is 2 for 7. He has struck out 4 times and has walked a couple in this Great Lakes Regional. Sharp single left field. Runners down, first and second here in the 6th. Yeah, I just checked out his dad. He's not standing over there, but he might have a bit of an internal smile.
He seems to be kind of a groove hitter, at least in this tournament. You miss inside to him right in that one zone. We've seen him deliver a couple balls out to left center field, and that one to left field hit pretty hard.
Max DeGraff is 0 for 3 today, 3 for 9 in a regional. Today he is struck out, grounded out short second, or rather third short to first, and grounded out second to first. Has 2 runs batted in the regional. And an RBI spot here. No balls, 2 strikes. Kentucky fans didn't like that call. Harrison Tybe is in the follow-up spot in the cleanup position. Game tied in the 6th. Back-to-back hits in the inning by Grady Johnson and Ty Bryant for Eastern Little League of Lexington, Kentucky. Toward right field, that's a base hit. Will they send a runner? Stays to the station ball and now gets away, and Kentucky will take the lead. Well, unfortunately, no backup for the catcher on the play. It was one hopped. And as a result, Johnson comes home to score, and Eastern has regained the lead.
Station to station until you get an overthrow or a bad throw to the plate, and Hager out there in right field this time threw it to the plate, and you don't want to short hop anybody. Cutoff man not in a position there. Ed short hops Rice behind the plate, and that allows Johnson to come strolling home for the go-ahead run right now. You said it, no backup behind third. The pitcher's job, a lot of times as they get older, they'll go back and back up the catcher.
In the meantime, John, Harrison Tybe is hit by a pitch. That will load the bases. Wisconsin's going to have to regain some composure here. Still very much in the game, but now trailing 6-5. This inning started innocently enough for Wisconsin, retiring Braxton Burse on a fly ball to left. Then Grady Johnson beat out an infield hit. Ty Bryant singled to left, and then Max DeGraff with the base hit to right that should have loaded the bases. But on the one hop to Brant Rice, it got past him from the outfield. That allowed a run to score. The walk to Tybe now has loaded the bases. Big Scott, a big opportunity now for Kentucky to bust it open as Joey Howard got up on a fastball. Strike one.
Wisconsin electing to play back at shortstop and second base defensively. Going to try to get a traditional double play there. Second base to first base. On the corners, they're in to cut off that run at the plate. Speedy Bryant down at third base. Anything that gets away from this catcher, I'm looking for him to possibly try to take advantage of that and score here.
Hit toward left field and hit well. Grand slam. How about that? Howard tattooed that one to left field, and Kentucky leads 10-5.
Well, they were waiting for some crooked numbers. He gets a breaking ball that hangs in the air, and he's able to deliver it over the left field fence for a grand slam home run. And finally, Kentucky has that big inning that they've been searching for the first couple days of this tournament.
Couldn't come at a better time in the last inning. Well, you think about it, if Wisconsin had been able to retire Grady Johnson on that infield hit, you'd had 2 outs and nobody on. But after that, a hit to left, a hit to right, error in the catcher, a walk, and then a bomb by Howard. That's how quickly the game can turn.
It's amazing the twists and turns of this thing. We mentioned the bases loaded defensively for Kentucky. They were able to get out of that inning, and then it comes back to them. They load up the bases and come through with the grand slam home run. So Jeff Ganan's going to start thinking, boy, how many times am I going to be in a bases loaded situation?
Yeah, way too many.
It's a nice job by the players on Wisconsin coming over to talk with their pitcher on the mound. Parlier saying, just relax, it's okay. Don't worry about it, we're still behind you here. That's good teammates.
Yeah. So Kentucky now 3 outs away from staying alive in the tournament. And finally, the bats for Eastern Little League have arrived. Out in front of the plate, it's going to be a tough play. Graham Johnson beats it out. His third hit of the regional. And the 6th consecutive man to reach base for Kentucky.
We mentioned earlier they had some hard luck hitting some line drives right at the defenders of Wisconsin. Well, now everything they hit seems to find a hole, whether it's over the fence or just a dribbler out front of home plate.
It's been a 5-hit, 5-run inning for Kentucky. And the guy at the plate, Leighton Harris, really did, I thought, John, a terrific job of getting out of the jam in the bottom of the 5th when it looked like Wisconsin might open things up offensively.
No question. Got the ball hit back to him, was able to get the throw at first base, made a couple plays, fielding his position. Well, Kentucky, I know what they're thinking in that dugout. Boy, it's not easy. They had to outscore their opponents 21-15 in the semifinals and the finals of the state tournament to beat Bowling Green Eastern 11-8. They beat Nelson County 10-7. They found a way to get it done there, and they may have found a way to keep it alive today.
So you think a number of these managers and coaches who have played college baseball find this more stressful than
yes,
when they play collegiately?
Especially when your child's a part of it, I think.
Still only one out in the inning, but Harris now retired. They're 2 away. Kentucky has officially batted around. The coach's son, Dylan Gannon, ready to hit. He grounded out third to first in the 5th inning. Lucas Hager set the lead off for Wisconsin, which will need a big inning of its own to have a chance in its final at bat. Hope you'll join us in a little more than an hour when Iowa and Minnesota get together. See if Minnesota regroup from that difficult loss last night in the walk-off to South Dakota.
Quick turnaround for them. That's an emotional letdown in a great ball game. We'll see if they're able to bounce back here in a short period of time.
That game to me, John, along with the Indiana-Kentucky game, are in terms of best baseball we've seen, we're kind of 1 and 1A.
No question.
1-0 and 2-1 games in that order. Foul ball. Pretty good move by the third base umpire, Andrew Kelly, there.
Look, he's shaking his head, little smile. He was like, wait a minute, fair, foul? He got all twisted here. Watch him. He's like, yep, foul, time. Let's regroup.
Quite mobile, too, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they've done a tremendous job in this regional. We've had many reviews by these coaches. Every close play, it seems like they want to have it reviewed, and only 2 of all of the reviews have been overturned. That's quality umpiring.
And you have taken the time on more than one occasion to laud them for their fine work.
Well, they deserve it. They're volunteers coming out here, giving up their time.
Gannon out on strikes. 9 bat in the inning. And Joey being Joey went yard with the bases loaded. That has busted this game open. It is Kentucky 10, Wisconsin 5. Wisconsin's last chance coming up. Caden Worth is set to pinch hit and lead off in the last of the 6 for Wisconsin, which needs 5 runs to have a chance. Brady Robeson now back in left field for Kentucky. And there's Leighton Harris, who dealt out of a pretty big jam in the Wisconsin 5th, allowing just 1 run to score. And again, it was a situation he had inherited. Big intentional walk paid off nicely as a strikeout and then a ground ball back to him, force at home plate. Got him out of any further trouble. Kept the game at 5-5. Ball 1. One and 2. Back to the Wisconsin top of the order in just a moment. One out.
Harris making quick work out on the mound. He's taking no time at all. He gets the ball back from Graham Johnson, and the lefty's ready to deal.
By the way, in case you're wondering if this score stays the way it stands right now, Kentucky's next game will be on Thursday, as they'll finally get a nicely deserved day off. And they'll face the winner of our next game, and that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Keegan Jersley toward left field. 2 outs. Nice play by Brady Robeson. Landon Parlier, the last chance for Wausau. Harris, by the way, in position to get the victory because he held the fort, leaving the bottom of the 5th with the score tied, and then Kentucky has scored 5 to start this 6th inning. I imagine after a short break and some lunch, Kentucky will stick around, do a little scouting. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and 1. Two and 2. 1 strike away is Kentucky.
Harris was delivering fastballs. That time he sets it up with the curveball. Let's see where he tries to end this thing. Fastball inside, misses. We'll see if he goes back to the breaking ball right here to try to end it.
Headed to short. High hop, throw over to first. Game over. This play may be up for review. As the runner remains at first base, Kentucky kind of a premature celebration. This will go to replay. And why not? Because this is Wisconsin season right here. I believe the call on the field was out.
The call was out on the field. They're going to take a look at it. And why not? I agree with him for taking a look at this, and I've been supportive of the umpires here. When I looked at it here, I thought he was safe. So this one may get overturned in my opinion, but we're going to get another look at it here, and that may change my mind, but I think he is safe.
If he is, this game continues. Looks like it. Yep, he's going to be safe. It's going to be overruled. That likely won't take long to determine, but we'll see.
As we said before, this will be the third, only the third.
Good job, John. So Parlier beats it out. He has now had 3 hits today and 5 in the regional.
You know, with all the delays maybe that you have from reviewing plays like that, you want to get it right. It's important these kids getting to the Little League World Series.
Any level for that
right,
matter.
Their season end right there. So, you know, I'd rather it be right and take the time to get it right than to miss that.
Well, you know, in the college game, in college basketball, we saw this a couple years ago when Villanova beat Carolina. Last play of the game, buzzer beater, still reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't happen in every play in baseball, but certainly that was important to do it there. 2 balls, no strikes. So it's up to Blake Nichols to try to keep it alive for Wisconsin. Season hanging in the balance. Ball 3, wild pitch, runner on to second base. Brent Rice would bat next. This could do it. Now the game is over and Kentucky wins. No runs ahead, nobody errors, no errors, and 1 left. And Kentucky's moving on to Thursday's competition. And for Wisconsin, despite a gallant effort, the season has come to an end.
Well, I'll give this Wisconsin team some credit for continuing to battle through this. They did it after losing their first 2 in the state championship and then ran off 5 and then Here, Kentucky a little bit better today as they get the victory 10-5, and Kentucky finally gets some of those crooked numbers on the board that they so desired through those first 2 ball games.
Got 3 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and aided by Joey Howard's grand slam, 5 in the sixth. Come on back in an hour. We'll have Iowa and Minnesota, yet another elimination game in the Little League World Series Regional. This time we'll be in the Midwest Division. For John Gregory, Jim Barber, thanks for joining us. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll see you in about an hour from Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana.